What is going on, Horror Mob? This is Bronco Juggalo, and I am coming to you with a special Horror Mob only Patreon exclusive review of the 2006 film Night of the Living Dead 3D. Directed by Jeff Broadstreet, starring Sid Haig as Gerald Tovar and Brianna Brown as Barbara. Now, this film basically follows the Night of the Living Dead plot up to a point. We have Barbara and her brother Johnny. They're going to their aunt's funeral. They get there late. Nobody's around. They don't know what's going on. And then all of a sudden they get attacked by the living dead. Johnny gets overpowered and Barbara takes off running. She makes it to a mortuary where she runs into this really weird guy who runs the place by the name of Gerald Tovar. He sends her packing. She finds her way to a drug dealer's country home, and that is where they try to hole up and wait this out, even though they keep having a fight and they keep having to get rid of the people that they are close to. Guys, there will be some minor spoilers in this review. That is where the similarities to the original kind of end. In this one, we do find out that Gerald Tovar is actually responsible for the zombies. He's been doing his own kind of experiments to give people life, to keep them going, to keep them alive. And we find out that he is responsible for this catastrophe that has befallen these people. A lot out there about this movie, guys. This is the copy that I just picked up, which I gave you guys the sneak peek to. And it came with the really awesome 3D glasses. Watching a movie like this in 3D is kind of hard for somebody like me, being with glasses and all. It kind of makes my eyes tired. It's a little bit difficult, but I sat through this, and I do believe that it was pretty well worth it. Before I get into my pros and cons, I just want to tell you that there is a prequel to this movie. Now, the prequel came out in 2012. It stars Andrew Divoff of Wishmaster, who, as you know, is one of my favorites. And it's called Night of the Living Dead 3D Reanimation. And that is something that I definitely want to be checking out soon. Now, getting into my cons, because I have less of those than I do with my pros. I'll be honest, this movie can be a tad boring at times. Now, this is, like I said, Night of the Living Dead. It's the same story we've seen before. I'll buy it with a few twists. But there is still a lot of similarities to the original. However, it just has a bit of a slower pace, if you ask me. And the actors don't seem as passionate about what they were doing. It feels like they were just kind of going through the motions with this one. With that being said, I did enjoy it overall. My second and my final con is how can you miss when you're that close of range? And what I mean by that is there's two guys with 6 shooters. The zombies are this far away and they still miss. How is that possible? How do you miss when you're that far away? Now, the first time he hit 3 shots in the chest area. He didn't know to hit the brain, even though they had already shown that before. He was still kind of dumb and he didn't hit the brain. But then they're firing, and these guys are literally just a foot or so away from them in the room, and they're missing. I just didn't get that. But whatever. You could be the worst shot in the world, and they'd be a foot from you, and you could still be able to hit them. Come on. Well, that's it, like I said, for the cons, guys. Into the pros. First off, the blood and gore in this movie is really, really good. We have lots of blood, lots of gore. There are some cutaway kills, but there's also some really good non-cutaway kills that make it well worth the watch if you're into blood and gore. I do like that, yes, this is a basic premise of Night of the Living Dead. A lot of people don't know this, but Night of the Living Dead actually became public domain. So this movie never had to get the rights to Night of the Living Dead to make it. They never had to ask permission. Just like the movie Night of the Living Dead Mimesis, which, by the way, if you haven't seen that movie, I definitely recommend it. It's really good, at least in my opinion, and it has music from ICP. I liked it. Bill did not. I liked it. It's kind of a meta Night of the Living Dead type of movie. But I'm getting off track. That's another movie. Maybe I'll review that one sometime too. I do have that one. What I'm trying to say is that, yes, it's the basic premise, but this movie with the plot changes does have an identity of its own. And I do really like that. They kept it true enough to the story to pay the homage. They didn't deviate so far or go in a totally different direction. Yes, Rob Zombie, I'm talking to you. To where it was a slap in the face to the fans. They kept it true to the original, but they gave it its own life. They gave it its own identity. And that I do really enjoy. That's what I want in a remake. I want a remake that, yes, honors the original, but also does something a little bit different, but does it in a way that it's respectful to the original, and this one did that. The most famous line in this movie, and one of the most famous lines in movie history, "They're coming for you, Barbara." I like that it's delivered over a text. I thought it was just funny that way. I don't know why, but as soon as I saw it, it made me chuckle. And I was like, man, that kind of doesn't make any sense, but I almost put in the con column, but I was like, man, that was kind of funny. It made me laugh. So I put it in the pros column. The final thing that I have to say about this movie is that the 3D is excellent. Now, it is an older fashioned 3D, you know, with the red and blue. And as I said, that does kind of mess with my eyes a little bit wearing these. But this is beautiful 3D. It's very stylized too. Like, there's this great shot of when he shoots the gun, and you can see the little fire cloud and the smoke cloud come out of the gun, and see the bullet travel. And I liked that a lot. That was really cool. There's some great shots where blood is squirting out of the zombie from gunshot wounds, and that's really cool. The 3D in this movie was done extremely well for that old style. I really did like it a lot. Overall, guys, this is not the best Night of the Living Dead movie. It's not my favorite of the remakes of this film, but I do enjoy it. It was good. There were some boring, slow parts, but other than that, I did overall have fun with this movie, and it was good to see this take on the film. I would recommend this film, and I also want to recommend Night of the Living Dead Mimesis. That is a very different kind of film. I got it. I mean, I'm not saying Bill didn't get it, he just didn't like it. But I got what they were trying to do. I enjoyed it. I say check out both of those films. So this has been my Patreon only Horror Mob exclusive Night of the Living Dead 3D review. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you very much, my 5 Patreons. John Kyle Stanton, much love, brother. Jen's Reviews from the Grave, you know I love you, Jen. Christian as well. Craig Stevens, you are the man. I love you, bro. Dino, much love, brother. Much, much love. And of course, Scott, nothing but utmost respect and love and gratefulness to you, brother. I love you so much. All you guys are great. This is Bronco Juggalo saying, peace.
Born on Halloween, born on Halloween, born on Halloween. It's the date that jumps right out at ya. 10-3-1 the calendar. In Texas, a hellraiser's born like the Chainsaw Massacre. Hills have eyes in Texas, kids. Stories about what next he did. Doctor slapped him on his ass, his head spun round like Exorcist. Bad enough for quarantine. Mess with him, you're gonna scream. They said he had